I'm Justin, and for today's CEU course, we're going to talk about Muay Thai. Go over a little bit about what it is, a little background information, and how to improve athletic performance in the sport. And to begin, it's known as Thai boxing or the art of eight limbs. It's full contact, based out of Thailand, and it commonly uses fists, elbows, knees, and shins with their competitors. The ring is measured 4.9 by 4.9 to 7.3 by 7.3 square, and it has padding and cushioning on the ropes, posts, and floor. The average weight for a fighter is 122 to 147 pounds. That's the most competitive division as well. They can range from mini flyweight to super welterweight for divisions. Say that three times fast. Length of fights also vary, but for the most important bouts within Lumpani and Raja Damnern, they're 5 rounds with 3 minutes each, with a break of 2 minutes in between rounds. Once again, they can vary between amateur bouts and different promotions. Headbutts, biting, poking you in the eyes, punching somebody's junk, spitting, and swearing will be met with penalties. That's a no-no. Also, takedowns are allowed, but judo and wrestling techniques are not. Throwing opponents off the ring or breaking their back, like a Bane style on Batman, is not allowed. So the legal techniques to anywhere on the part of the body, save the groin, like punches, elbows, and knees, are allowed and will score you points. And the winner of each round gets 10 points. And the winner of each round is determined by who inflicts more damage with clear shots present and a shot that shows a lack of power. So if you punch me in the gut and I show no reaction or defended, that's not going to be scored in your favor. And that's how more experienced and technical fighters can win, even if they appear less aggressive. They know when to deliver those powerful and clean hits at the right moment and make them hurt and make them show that they hurt. And the boxer who delivers more potent attacks coupled with effective execution of Muay Thai defense and counterattacks will score higher. And a ref has to stop the fight if there's a disqualification, knockout, or TKO. Muay Thai fighters recruit the aerobic and anaerobic systems. The anaerobic energy system is important for speed and explosive nature of the sport and suggests its phosphagen system dominance. And the rounds are shorter compared to other types of mixed martial arts. So aerobic contribution could be minimal and be used for primarily baseline endurance mechanisms. To further talk about the physical demands in one study, and just before I go, all numbers are presented in the citations at the end of this demonstration. So if you want to read up on any of the slides or any of this information, citations will be provided in the end of the presentation. Heart rate was always above the anabolic threshold and approached near or to maximum values during preliminary incremental lab tests. Mean VO2 was obtained while AT occurred at 30.8 milliliters per minute, so 56% of the VO2 max, and the mean maximum heart rate was 187 beats per minute, and the heart rate level at AT was 168. Blood lactate level increased throughout rounds and increased directly after the first round and continuously increased to the end of the fight. What the data shows from this study is that athletes greatly relied on the anaerobic metabolism to support energy requirement during matches. Time structure analysis also showed that on average, 60% of the time, fighters were spent in the clinch or attacking at a distance, at a medium distance, while 40% were spent in study phases. And the technique that was most used was single attacks, while less used were counter attacks and clinches. Winners had higher effectiveness of attacks compared with losers. That didn't mean that they performed more techniques than losers, but simply their attacks were more effective and more technical, rather than them being physically better in condition standings. Some physical demands for Muay Thai fighters: you got the strike, hook, and uppercut. They're similar to boxing. They rely on the triple extension to generate force in the ground. That's also then transfers from the trunk, shoulder, and arm. And triple extension is crucial for kicking, kneeing, and elbowing. Muay Thai fighters also need reactive strength, especially from the strength shortening cycle, or the SSC. Say that three times fast, and that could help generate force. And efficient SSC mechanics result in enhanced propulsive forces and energy conservation that can lead to top enhance power and power endurance of striking. Another key performance indicator is endurance and stamina. So, improving both aerobic and anaerobic endurance will help a fighter determine the right moment when to push and explode with a barrage of punches and when to conserve energy and back away and withstand later rounds. Strength and power is also important as Muay Thai fighters need to generate explosive force quickly, especially for strikes, knees, and elbows. That triple extension is also used to generate force on the ground. And one rep maxes are kind of a good measure to determine key lifts. So if you have a good one rep max and a power clean, that could help evaluate speed strength, so power under loading, and a one rep max in a compound lift, such as a bench press, can help evaluate maximum muscular strength, and that's correlated with peak power output. Agility is also important. Agility and footwork will help build quick ground contact time, improve change of direction, explosiveness in movements, and stability in those movements. They're important for evading attacks, delivering strikes and kicks, and countering movements. Flexibility is also important in the hams, hips, ilioplastis, the delts, the erector spinae, and the obliques. And those muscles are integral for kicking, punching, striking, and other movements in Muay Thai. Flexibility in those muscles will help improve striking power, agility, and prevent injury. Weight class maintenance is also important. It may not be what you expect at first, but a drastic weight cut can hinder somebody's performance. Think Conor McGregor when he was at 155 and he looked like a skeleton. He had the right coaches to make sure that it was a proper weight cut while ensuring that he didn't lose his athletic performance. So weight class maintenance is also important. Striking, punching, and accuracy is also important. So striking heavy bags and pads as hard as possible with a few seconds of rest in between, and striking as hard as possible with a shorter rest between strikes is also used for accuracy improvement. The, the straight hook and uppercut are three principal punches in Muay Thai and are identical to those in boxing. And that triple extension, improving that will improve power. Footwork is also important as previously discussed. So control distance, control the gap, evade attacks, quicken ground contact time, and create explosiveness in movements. Distance control is also important on a technical skill metric because if you can understand when to clinch in the close range, when to engage punches and kicks and stay out of the clinch in the mid range, and be far enough to avoid punches, but close enough and land teeps, long range strikes, and kicks when applicable is important for distance control. Some defensive techniques include blocking, parrying, and countering. These are also important KPIs. So mastering these are necessary to deflect blocks and strikes, and also the counter. And these can include parrying, checking kicks with the shin, and blocking punches and kicks with your arms. Head movement is also necessary. Slips, bobs, and weaves, and leaning can be used to improve head movement and avoid shots to the face. Clinching is also necessary because that is a unique aspect to Muay Thai, and they engage in knee and elbowing when they're controlling their opponent's posture. So a collar tie, an arm drag, and over under position, those are types of drills that you can utilize to control the upper body and neck and allow proper position for knees and strikes and to engage the clinch. So normative data to help kind of back up some of this KPI stuff. This normative data talked about the difference between Muay Thai fighters and UK fighters. National level fighters or fighters in Muay Thai, they land more techniques on target, use more knees and more kicks than their regional counterparts. Thai fighters deliver more attacking techniques than their UK fighters. They also use a greater number of defensive techniques than their UK counterparts. For both, for both, uh, kicking techniques were the most frequent attack, followed by punches and knees. Most used punching technique was the straight punch, followed by the hook punch, and then the uppercut. And those targets usually included the legs, body, head, and neck. The most frequently attacked was the body, followed by the head and neck, and the legs. And Thai fighters specifically targeted the body more frequently, followed by the head, then the legs, compared to the UK counterparts, which favored the head as their primary target, followed by the body, and then the legs. So common limitations include sprained wrists from punching a bag or a pad at the wrong angle, swollen legs from receiving kicks from legs or kicking somebody with your leg, ankles from those kicking motions, shins from deflecting punches and kicks with your upper with your shin by raising your leg to block it, and that'll take time to heal, especially with conditioning. And bruised ribs can also occur and make movement and things such as coughing very uncomfortable. Plantar fasciitis is also common, as cardio is crucial for Muay Thai to build endurance and to keep the athlete lean and in that state to where they're able to perform kicks and knees and elbows in an efficient manner. So long distance running is very common, and plantar fasciitis is one of the most common injuries, resulting in a stabbing pain in and around the heel. Strained neck muscles from the clinch game can occur because you need a strong and diverse clinch game for Muay Thai. And if you're not used to that, your neck, you can get sore and stiff neck muscles. Headaches and concussions are also common during sparring, practicing drills, and competition. And it's likely an athlete will get a headache or concussion like symptoms at some point. Blisters on the feet are also common from pivoting movements, that leads to friction on the soles of your feet on top of improper footwear or excessive moisture. Further, injury rate was roughly about 55 injuries per 100 fight exposures, according to one study. And within another study, the majority of reported injuries were bruises or contusions, followed by cuts and lacerations. The primary body region that was injured were the extremities, and more than half of the reported fight injuries, followed by head injuries. And the primary cause of fight injuries was due to being struck by the opponent, while colliding with the opponent caused 12.3% of injuries. Some ways that we can reduce injury in Muay Thai athletes include dynamic warm-ups. You need to strengthen and make flexible the muscles most commonly used in the sport, and also to prepare that body for the intensity of the sport. We talked about the hip abductors, the knees, the ankles, the upper body. So warm-up drills such as reverse lunges with same side rotation, single leg glute bridges with rear delt flies, the Bulgarian lunge jumps can be utilized in a dynamic warm-up setting. Specific movement drills can also be used, such as sprains and bruising of the wrists, legs, neck, and head are common in Muay Thai. And incorporating these movement drills that practice common movements such as the strikes and kicks are integral. That can include pad work, sparring, and light to heavy bag work. And improving striking and kicking technique is also integral to minimizing injury. Mastering striking fundamentals and learning essential strikes. What I mean by that, for relative information for success in a Muay Thai fighter. So understanding movements such as teeps, which are used for distance, elbow strikes, including horizontal, diagonal, and uppercut movements in close clinching ranges, and knee strikes, for straight curve and jumping knee movements are also important. Footwork is also important because you need quick ground contact time, and that will help an athlete control distance, control the gap, evade attacks, quicken ground contact time, and create explosiveness in movements. And for clinch work, it's necessary to control the opponent's upper body and neck, and allow proper position for knees and strikes and engage and disengage to clinch. Blocking and parrying is also important. So the jab parry and the cross, the teep parry and the leg kick, and the kick parry and the jab cross combo can be used to teach an athlete how to properly defend and parry and attack and master strike technique. Head movements such as the slips, bobs, and weaves and leaning can be used to help with flexibility and movement of the neck. Also, neck drill that you commonly see in wrestling, like the one you see Mike Tyson doing when he's rolling his neck like that, can also be utilized on top of weighted neck curls. And distance control is also important, as it's necessary to land strikes, engage to clinch, and avoid damage. So sparring will help with that. And speaking of sparring, shadow boxing, and bag work can be used to improve the listed technical, offensive, and defensive work. Now, for improving your athlete in the physical side of things and the physical conditioning side of things, in a strength power sense, Muay Thai athletes need to generate force quickly, especially for strikes, kicks, and elbows. That triple extension we talk about generates force from the ground, then is transferred through trunk, shoulder, and arm. So to begin, plyometrics like step drops and hip ups can increase striking force, power endurance, and enhance regular execution of powerful strikes, develop that triple extension, and improve kicking and punching mechanisms. So ankle stiffness exercises such as stiff-legged hops are great for building overall leg stiffness, which is key for optimizing force generation. Ballistic exercises such as switch lunges and medicine ball tosses can be utilized to improve the rate of force development. Weight training can also be utilized to improve power and force production and increase the rate of force production. So the power clean, as we talked about earlier, can evaluate an athlete's speed strength, so their power under loading, and a compound lift can evaluate max muscular strength and power output, and also weightlifting can improve rate of force production. Core strength is also important as you need rotational and core strength for balance, stability, and generating power from the ground up. Medicine ball throws, reverse lunges with rotation, windshield wipers, and other exercises can be used to generate power from rotational movements like roundhouse kicks and uppercuts. Conditioning in the aerobic and anaerobic energy systems is important for endurance and knowing when to push and explode with a barrage of punches and when to conserve energy. So, interval training, long distance runs can be utilized in that aspect. Flexibility of the hams, hips, delts, erector spinae, and core will improve striking power, agility, and aided injury prevention. You can utilize stretches such as a good morning, a single leg RDL, or use exercises such as a stiff legged deadlift, an RDL, a reverse lunge, you name it, or Bulgarian to aid in flexibility of those muscles. And you can also do T stretches as well, lateral raises, to name a few exercises. And there's specific conditioning metrics that we can use, such as grip strength, because grip and forearm strength are necessary for the clinch and in takedowns. And for conditioning of the shins is necessary to reduce the impact and injury risk from kicks and blocks. With that in mind, we could look at a sample macro programming schedule that we can use. This is based off of one important fighter. The name of it slips me, but he is in the citations listed at the end of this demonstration. And he has over 300 fights. And in his last fight, he fought in the beginning of this year in July, or correction, in the beginning of July, and then had several months off for training, and then fought again in November. And that in-season breakdown that we have right here is based upon the frequency of fights, and in turn, the frequency fighters have to spar and train to meet those demands, because Muay Thai fighters fight a lot and often, and they will fight very young, especially before the age of 15 or around the age of 15 in amateur fights and within their own respective clubs. So some example exercises we could use to improve KPIs. Once again, power cleans for strength speed or power under heavy loading. The deadlift, another exercise that can improve KPIs, utilized in developing rate of force production, peak power output. That could develop powerful kicks, strikes, and clinches. Plyometrics like depth drops and hip ups can increase striking force, power endurance, and enhance regular execution of powerful strikes. And develop the triple extension. And ballistic exercises such as switch lunges and medicine ball tosses can be utilized to improve the rate of force production. And since it's shown right here, I will demonstrate to you why, in order to properly implement a strength and conditioning program for Muay Thai athletes, a GPP phase, a strength power phase, and a hypertrophy phase is necessary. To begin, the GPP phase is important to introduce athletes into many movements that will improve their power and force production, enhance the body's working capacity for heavier loads that will be utilized throughout the season. And this type of training style will also help with endurance, not just in a weightlifting sense, but in respect to their fighting style. The use of higher volume with lower weight will help with coordination, improve endurance, improve conditioning, and prevent injury by strengthening the joints, tendons, and ligaments, thus creating a strong foundation for the athletes. The strength power phase is necessary for a Muay Thai fighter, as we need to improve an athlete's rate of force development, peak power output, and their ability to explosively transfer force. So developing that strength power will enhance explosive power and speed strength. That's crucial for generating quick and powerful kicks and strikes. Having the necessary strength and power to parry and counter an opponent's attack and put them into a clinch, and improving the rate of force development or an ability to generate force quickly will help develop that triple extension we talked about, which is crucial for generating quicker, more powerful strikes, kicks, and elbows. And improving the strength shortening cycle, or the SSC, will increase energy return, quicken ground contact time, improve lower body stiffness in the ankles, and improve force generation in the lower body. And finally, a hypertrophy phase is necessary, as it's used to improve muscle size, which can increase strength in Muay Thai athletes. More muscle mass in the legs, glutes, and core can make kicks and strikes more powerful, maintain high intensity striking for long periods of time, and build strength in the back and arms for clinching. Hypertrophy can help with sustained output and explosive movements throughout rounds and help athletes be resistant to fatigue. And finally, hypertrophy can help protect the joints and soft tissues surrounding the muscles most commonly used in the sport. And now We'll give you some time to do the CEU quiz. Answers will be provided right here. Now, just some key points to take away about this presentation. Muay Thai fighters engage in a physically demanding martial art that recruits the aerobic and anaerobic energy systems. Strength and power demands are necessary for striking, kicking, clinching, and other common movements in the sport. We need to reduce injury in the legs and upper body to improve the athletic performance of an athlete, and a GPP, strength, power, and hypertrophy phase is necessary and viable for improving athletic performance and reducing injury for Muay Thai athletes. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you found this useful and entertaining, and I hope you have a great day.